Ciao, homie.
What's up, YouTube? Or for my Croatian-speaking friends,
Vas.
Tube. Welcome again to My Block Strongest Man, where we discuss how to use implements all around you in your home or in your yard to get that workout in and get off the couch and get some exercise and burn some calories. Everyone knows burning some calories is better than burning 0 calories. So tonight I wanted to talk about the New York Pro 2020 that just finished yesterday. And funny enough, it was in Florida, I think Tampa again, just like the Tampa Pro 4 weeks ago, probably having to do with the medical issues that continue to surround us these days. So for those of you who haven't seen the results thus far, spoiler alert, the winner of the New York Pro 2020 Men's Open Bodybuilding was Iain Valliere. And so it's been pretty controversial. A lot of folks feel like he shouldn't have won. Max Charles looked really good and really conditioned, and Justin Rodriguez, who came in second, for my personal perspective, I liked his physique the best. He didn't hit all the poses great, though, and, you know, I'll caveat this by saying I'm no bodybuilding judge. I don't have any training in what I'm looking at, and there's also a big difference from pose to pose. So I'll put in my description a link to a video Greg Doucette recently did highlighting Patrick Moore's day of eating and you know how his diet is too much suffering compared to what Greg Doucette would do. And I remember watching that video, and Patrick Moore is in his kitchen by himself eating, and I thought, this guy's enormous. He's a giant. But when he's next to these other guys, he looks small. He looks considerably smaller than Iain Valliere, Justin Rodriguez, John De La Rosa, Max Charles, all these guys. And when he's on the right, which from the stage would be the left, but as from the viewer's perspective, on the right, then I see him move over to the left, and he doesn't look tiny anymore. So I'm starting to think that a lot of this is perspective, camera angle, lighting, and you know, a lot of those things too. And so of the 6 major poses that men's open bodybuilders are asked to do, there's a front double bicep, there's a back pose, there is a most muscular or crab most muscular. So there's a few different, there's a side tricep pose as well, and I think I missed one. But, you know, kudos to me for being a total newbie and knowing 5 out of 6. Hopefully those were right. But point being, you can have somebody who's really great in one pose and not as good as the others in another pose. So, and then you want to judge size and conditioning, meaning how ripped they are. And so Patrick Moore is super ripped. He's just not, in most situations, in most poses, as big as the other guys. And so I think he gets dinged for that. He came in, was it 5th, I believe? So let's actually bring up the standings and have a look at what those were. So Iain Valliere was first. Justin Rodriguez, whose physique I like the best but didn't nail all the poses, was second. John De La Rosa third. Hassan Mustafa fourth. Max Charles fifth. And Patrick Moore sixth. And so a lot of online YouTubers like Nick Strength and Power, for example, thought that Max Charles should have placed higher. I agree with him. I thought Max Charles looked fantastic. His legs, at least from the front, are not as good as Iain's. And that's where I kind of think a lot of the subjectivity comes into play. Like, if you have a body part that's better on one and a body part that's better on the other, which is more important? How do you balance all that out? So I'm a big boxing fan and have been for a long, long time. The first fight I can remember watching was Mike Tyson versus Pinklin Thomas, which I think was the late 80s. So it's a similar situation. It's a subjective sport if you don't knock the guy out. And bodybuilding, I think, is the same. If you're not, you know, leaps and bounds ahead of everybody else, which at this level you're not, it's difficult and subjective to tell. So why don't we do an analysis of pose by pose with the 4 in the call out, which was Justin Rodriguez, John De La Rosa, Iain Valliere, and Patrick Moore, and we'll do a pose by pose and just kind of see what I thought there before I move on to the conclusion of this video. So let's have a look. Okay, pose by pose. So they're lining up. And we're going to start off with front double bicep. Front double bicep. So let me freeze frame that there. And I'll put up a screenshot of this so you can all see it. Going pose by pose. And like for me, Iain's not the best in this pose. Justin is. I would probably have Patrick Moore second, John De La Rosa third. I think Iain's last in this pose between him and John. And so now we go to front lat spread. Here, Iain's a lot better. Potentially win between him and Patrick on that pose. Now we're going to side chest. And so Iain often gets criticism for his chest. People say he has a small chest or he has no chest. I don't think he has no chest. I think that's a misconception. His chest looks small in certain poses, like the front double bicep, but I wouldn't say he has a small chest at all. And so then they transition into the back double bicep, and Iain is kind of scrunched between Patrick and John, but he looks big and he looks well developed there. I think Iain's looking great in that pose. John De La Rosa kind of points out how Iain's glutes are not as striated or not as well developed as his own. He kind of calls him out on that, and I see that. They're also not as big. As far as the back is concerned, he looks good. Again, for me, I prefer Justin's physique, but again, I don't know what I'm talking about. So, and the other criticism Iain takes a lot is in the calves. People say he has no calves. I would say in this back lat spread, he doesn't have calves. Well, he has calves. They're not as developed as the other guys, I would say, as developed as any of the others. So now we move to back lat spread. And here Iain's big. I think Justin was just as big and better definition. And now we're going to the side tricep. Again, Justin has a bigger, more defined horseshoe in his tricep. And now we come back to the front, abs and thighs. Iain's still posing. Patrick's the last to go. Their bodies are so different here, so I wanna pause this. So John's doing a weird, like, only one hand behind his head kind of deal, which it makes it hard to give it to him. Iain's abs are defined, well defined, but they're like the flat kind, if I can explain. Greg Doucette's like that too. His abs are really well defined, but they're flat. And I think I kind of like the slightly more bulbous, not bubble gut, but slightly more protruding ab muscles, which Justin has. They're like, Iain's are like flattened hamburgers, and Justin's are like potatoes. Like they have more to them. They come out more. And Patrick Moore's are like really well defined as well, better defined than Iain's abs are, but they're like tiny in comparison to Justin. So the one thing I want to mention here, though, is Justin is all the way on the left. Patrick's on the right. John De La Rosa is in the second from left position. This is from the viewer's position, not the stage position would be opposite. And then Iain's second from the right. And so they're going to switch them up soon. And I think to get Justin and Iain next to each other for comparison, probably because they came in first and second, so they wanted to do that comparison. And now that they do that, Justin, who looked monstrously bigger than everybody else all the way on the left, looks around Iain Valliere's size now when he's right next to him. A little shorter, but around his size. He has better defined biceps and abs. Iain's quads are better. But Patrick Moore suddenly doesn't look tiny anymore. He looks like taller than everybody else when he's on the left. So I think something weird's going on with the camera angle that's making this really hard to judge watching it on the internet. And I'll talk about that in a moment, how Iain's response to all this hate that he's been getting was, you really got to go with the expectation and the feedback of the judges who saw this live from 10 feet away. It's hard to tell from pictures and videos, and I'm with him on that one. And so I just want to reiterate, I liked Justin Rodriguez in a lot of these poses, but a lot of it could have been weird camera angles or what the judges are looking for. I have no idea what I'm looking for, right? I like the physique I like. So, it's totally possible that Iain won the majority of these poses and deserves to win this show. So I want to just put that out there. Stop with all the hate. Most of the hate's coming from people who have never achieved anywhere near what this guy has achieved. I think I did the math, and I believe my calculations came out to his physique being 4,218.6 times better than mine. So who am I to judge? So I say give him the benefit of the doubt, give the judges the benefit of the doubt. So let's discuss a few more points and see if we come to that. So Iain's response to all of the hate and all the negativity online was, hey, I thought I improved quite a lot and I placed a lot of focus on addressing all of the deficiencies that the judges said were there from the Tampa Pro 4 weeks ago. So I feel like, I should be rewarded for addressing deficiencies that specifically the judges requested, right? And I'm with him on that. And then the other thing he said was, all these different folks are hating from Instagram photos and whatnot, but I'm going to go with the opinion of the experienced judges who were right there 10 feet away. And you know what? Like, there's all this hate being thrown at him and all this shade about he shouldn't have won. And I'm going to tend to go with his opinion on this one. He's right. Go with the opinion of the experienced judges that are 10 feet away, because I've been to real boxing matches. They're all real. I've been to live boxing matches and I've watched them on TV, and it's a world of difference in what you're experiencing. A world of difference. The sights, the sounds are totally different. And I can imagine bodybuilding's the same way. So when Iain says, respect the opinion of the judges that were there live 10 feet away, I'm with you, buddy. So, dude, you got support from me. No hate, no shade. I've liked Iain Valliere since I first heard about him 6, 7, 8 months ago and started getting reinterested in bodybuilding recently. And I wish you the best, buddy. So, great job. So for all of you who are joining me back again on my channel, or for all of you new viewers, hit that subscribe button, like this video. Please share this with everybody you know if you like what you watched. I would really appreciate it. And hit the bell button for all notifications of all my upcoming great content. So thanks again for joining me on My Block Strongest Man. And as always, ciao, homie.